Welcome to the first playoff edition of Hockey Unfiltered. Todd Lewis, joined by former professional hockey player Justin Bourne. Follow us along on Twitter. @JTBourne is Justin's account. Mine is @ToddLewisSports. Justin, are you ready to go with the famous playoff predictions? And hopefully we get, maybe 50% right.
I don't like our odds, but hey, let's have at it.
All right, let's begin in the East, and we'll talk about the 1 versus 8. Washington Capitals, New York Rangers. I think this one is a slam dunk. Everybody will say that, the Rangers, they whitewashed the Capitals a couple of times, but after getting bounced out of the playoffs last year by the Canadiens, the Caps have been on a mission. I don't care that Mike Green has been out and been hurt. He's a terrible defensive liability, and this has become a much more defensive team. Caps will win this series. I was going to say in 5, but I'll give the Rangers a bit of credit because of Lundqvist and say it now actually goes 6.
And I've heard people claim that the Rangers have a shot in this series. Like you said, there's Lundqvist, there's Gaborik, and some real talent there. But I think the Capitals look like they've got it figured out. They have that right mix of offense, playing a defensive system. That's scary for other teams, and I'm giving them a lot of credit. I say this one goes all of 4 hockey games for the Capitals.
That would be good for them, actually. A nice short series somewhere along the line always helps. Flyers over the Buffalo Sabres is how I've chosen it, but this, I think, is perhaps one of the toughest picks in either the East or the West. I chose the Flyers in 7, but that's only if Chris Pronger is actually healthy and comes back to play. Otherwise, bets are off, because if Ryan Miller is healthy, the Sabres will win this series.
You're a genius, sir. I've got the exact same thing. I have Flyers in 7. I think regardless of Pronger, I think, obviously he makes a huge difference, but I think if he's there and he's healthy, it might be a shorter series than that. This is everyone's upset pick, right? Everyone's saying the Sabres could do it, and they have a very good team there in Buffalo, but that Philly team might be the deepest in the East. They're just so good up front. I think it makes up for what I think is weak goaltending. I think the Flyers will get this one done. I said in 7 as well.
Well, you're right. I agree with you that they have weak goaltending, have all year. Bobrovsky's played well, but I don't think that he is the answer. And it also was a huge alarm bell to me that they recalled Michael Leighton and actually got him through waivers as an insurance policy. That smells to me like they are worried about something. And I don't, the Flyers I think will win, but they're not having the run that they did last year.
Yeah. I agree.
All right.
Yeah. Moving on.
Okay, Bruins and Canadiens. I'll let you go first this time to see if you're the genius.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely. I picked, I think this is going to be the shortest, easiest series of them all. I think Boston is going to run right over Montreal. I'm taking my second sweep in our first 3. I think it'll be 4 games, and I think the Bruins are just going to roll right over them.
Wow, did you get like a new broom closet for the first round or whatever? 4-game series you're picking? That's incredible.
I think those are the only 2 sweeps.
Okay. I believe Boston will win as well. Some of the Canadiens are saying, well, we won the season series 4-2, but it was those last couple of games against the Boston Bruins that I think were the real telltale signs. And much like some other teams that have some unfinished business in the playoffs, so do the Boston Bruins. And Tim Thomas, say what you will about the great season Carey Price has had. Tim Thomas has had an unbelievable year and should be collecting some personal hardware later on in the spring.
I think you can't beat a team you're intimidated of in playoffs, and I think Montreal is scared to death of Boston. I think a lot of teams are scared to death of Boston. They a strong lineup that can play. They can play, but they're also just so tough. And I don't think Montreal, they're small little guys, will be able to show up through that.
Now, the other series in the East is the one that I find most interesting. They're the 4 and 5 seeds. It's the Pittsburgh Penguins minus Evgeny Malkin for sure and Sidney Crosby, we don't know for how long, against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are back in the playoffs after a significant absence. I like the Lightning in this series, and I don't care if Sidney comes back or not. Tampa's going to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins.
For me, it hinges on Sidney. I thought he'd have been back by now, and had he played a game or 2, I think I'd be picking Pittsburgh. But I'm with you again that I actually picked Tampa in 7. It's going to go deep. Pittsburgh obviously has playoff experience. They have a lot of great puzzle pieces there. But Dwayne Rolson's been to the finals himself. He can play goal. And when you look at the firepower up front from Tampa, they're going to score some goals. And I think if this thing comes down to 7, they could break through.
I agree in that Vinny Lecavalier is playing better than I've seen him play in a long time. He's recovered from a lot of those injuries that, the stick in the face late and where he's wearing the visor now I don't think is a problem, but he has been on a tear the last 20 or 25 games. Marty St. Louis should get some consideration for the Hart Trophy. Stamkos is great, and Steve Yzerman made those astute moves, acquiring Dwayne Rollison to help up the goaltending. Picking up Eric Brewer from St. Louis was fantastic for their defense.
Yep.
Tampa's going to win this series over the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's going to open a lot of eyes. I think that everybody will view that as a huge upset, but I don't think it's as big necessarily as some would think.
I would agree. Yeah, Tampa stumbled a little bit down the stretch, and Pittsburgh's been overachieving. I think they'll both sort of head back to, regress to the mean, and Tampa will end up being the better team.
Okay, let's go over to the other conference now in the West. It's the Vancouver Canucks who cruise to the President's Trophy. Chicago Blackhawks, the defending Stanley Cup champions, their reign will officially come to an end in the first round. Canucks are going to steamroll over the Chicago Blackhawks. It may take 6 games, but I don't think this series will ever really be in doubt.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there too. That seems like a fairly obvious pick. I'm sure most people are making. The Canucks look, like the Cup favorite in my mind. That just the Sedins up front are dangerous, and they have the depth. And Luongo, I think if they win the Stanley Cup, if the Canucks do it, Roberto Luongo has to be the MVP. This will be the year that he makes that step into being who we all thought he could be. I had the Game 5 series because Chicago's been there before, and they're going to put up a fight, 5-game series. So I'm with you, though.
Right.
Vancouver will take this one.
I'm not sure Luongo has to be the MVP. Those 2 Sedins up front are great, and I love the way Ryan Kessler has played this year. It could be him as well, so it's going to be interesting to watch as the postseason moves on. Sharks and LA Kings. This one's a slam dunk. Sharks are rolling over LA. Because of the injuries to Kopitar and Williams, they just can't compete with San Jose.
No, and that's it. The Kings spent the last, 2 years trying to add more offense to supplement Kopitar. They've gone out and basically said they added Penner, who hasn't quite been who they needed, but they basically said, we know we need more than just Kopitar to get it done. They didn't get anyone, aside from Penner's been a bit of a bust, and they lost Kopitar to begin with. So you're right, they just aren't going to be able to hold up. The Sharks were great in the second half. I have Sharks in 5.
Okay, now Detroit over Phoenix is the way I've got it decided. Probably in 6 games because not every series can go 7. I think, though, the interesting part about this series, this will be the best coached series by both teams. Mike Babcock, Dave Tippett, 2 of the best coaches in the NHL, and how they use their assets and resources to defend and to generate offense against the opposition, I think is going to be the most interesting part to watch about this series. These 2 coaches matching up, I think, is going to be great.
Yeah, you know what? If you're a gambler, take the under, because these are 2 great coaches who are going to, they're defensively sound. And, I spoke with Don Maloney not long ago, who said they know they have to smother teams. They have to shut them down if they hope to win. So they're hoping to play low-scoring 2-1, 1-0 games. And, in those series, they're basically hoping for the you never know factor. And you get a lucky goal here and there. I think it's going to go deep. Last year it was a 7-game series. Phoenix had home ice, and Detroit took it in the end. This year Detroit has the home ice, and I think it's going to end the same way with Detroit winning it in 7.
Yeah, I think Detroit wins too. The only caveat being maybe that how healthy are the Detroit Red Wings? Zetterberg's been out the last couple of games. Datsuk's been dinged up through the season, and I think just about everybody in the Red Wings lineup has had some injuries. But provided they're healthy, they can play their game, and they can go a long way in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, the Coyotes don't have a whole ton of firepower, so they're kind of hoping those Red Wings have a few injuries so they can be in a little more even plane, I'm sure.
Okay, and the other series in the Western Conference, Nashville Predators and the Anaheim Ducks. I like Nashville in this one, and again, it's not. It would be viewed as an upset. Some will say it as maybe a big upset, but Nashville may be the Cinderella team this year. Picking up Mike Fisher, Pekka Rinne has been outstanding all season long in goal. The Predators match up really well in terms of defensive strength against the Anaheim Ducks. I think they win this series, and maybe they could go a little further than we've seen Nashville go before in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, Nashville's just been on a tear down the stretch, too. They were 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. They've, they're sort of sneaking around because they're not on, the major network broadcasts. They're definitely a quality hockey team with great goaltending. And for me, it's the triangle of Rinne, Suter, and Weber back there. I mean, that's a hallmark of a tough team to beat in playoffs, is they have a couple of shutdown defense who can play at the other end, too. Scary team. As good as Anaheim's top forwards are, I'm with you. I have Nashville winning that series as well.
Yeah, and as you move along into the second round, depending on who Nashville matches up against, again, because of the great goaltending and defense, which always wins in the playoffs, that could really carry them a long way. They don't, however, make my final pick for the Stanley Cup final. That I've decided is Vancouver Canucks from the West and the Washington Capitals from the Eastern Conference. Those are the two teams I think will match up and will have a first-time Stanley Cup winner this year sometime in June.
That would be a thrilling series. I would love Vancouver, Washington. I have Vancouver as well, but I have Boston going through. I just think that team is so tough. I really feel like it's been a while since I've seen a team that their grittiness has been more important to me than their ability to score goals. I tend to fall in love with the goal-scoring teams, but I know as a player, I don't want to get on the ice of the Bruins, and I think they're going to wear down some opponents. So I could see those two teams meeting up in the finals.
Okay, but did you pick a winner between Vancouver and Boston?
I did. I have the Cup coming home to Canada. Vancouver Canucks. I have beaten the Bruins in the finals.
There will be a Vancouver Stanley Cup, I think, too. It's going to be close, but you got to lean with Vancouver because they have it all. Everything from scoring, defense, toughness, goaltending, and they've been gearing up towards this. So I think the Vancouver Canucks will win it as well. Can't believe it. We go 11 minutes and we agree on so many things. We'll have to do this again in a couple of weeks before the second round. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, that obviously means that we're going to be wrong a whole bunch of times over. So oh, well, though, at least that we're on the same page. That's good.
All right. Thanks for watching this edition of Hockey Unfiltered. For Justin Bourne, I'm Todd Lewis, and our producer, Dave Turner. Thanks. We'll be back again to join you just before the start of the second round.